Hello everyone, I'm Danielle Mercurio and I'm here to talk about the upcoming Mercury Retrograde. Oh, wait, can you hear me? No, I'm just playing. Nothing's wrong. But sometimes with Mercury Retrograde, we think things are going to go wrong. We're so worried about our technology getting messed up and our connection not be fully the way that, we want things to be. And that is the beast of Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde has been around since the beginning of time, okay? When our Earth was created, all these other planets were created too. And this whole galactic universe and energy was graced for us to be able to work with this energy, okay? We work with the energy of the things beyond our Earth. We work with the energy of the weather. We work with the energy of our bodies, right? There's so many things we work with, and we are influenced by the cosmic galactic energy that is beyond our Earth. And it has been this way since the beginning of time. Therefore, Mercury retrograde has been here since the beginning of time, and we've been able to get through it up till this point. And so it's very likely that whenever Mercury retrograde strikes again, we're going to get through it. But the more we know about it, the more that we can navigate it, the more that we can be aware, and the more that we can manage our everyday life in a way that feels like it's at ease and that we're using this time for our benefit. So Mercury is the planet of communication. It's the planet of messaging, of back and forth, of exchange, of technology, right? So what happens is about 3 times a year, for about 3 weeks, the planet Mercury goes in what's called retrograde. So typically the planets are always just kind of winding around and working in our favor, moving around Earth, making things go and flow and all of that stuff. But every now and then, planets do what's called a retrograde. Just like we sometimes are going about our day-to-day life, and all of a sudden we've got to be like, reek, I need to take a step back here. I need to rewind. I need to reassess. I need to retreat. And you know what Mercury's like? Guess what, guys? I got to do that too. You guys are all crazy down on Earth doing all your manic things and getting caught up in the day-to-day and technology and saying yes to things that you want to say no to. Like, come on, knock it off. I need a break from you all. All right? Now, it doesn't mean that Mercury is abandoning us, but what happens is when Mercury goes into retrograde, it moves in what's called a backwards motion. So it's not floating back in, essentially, but what it's doing is it's stalling, and it's moving in another direction. And so that's starting tomorrow. It's already kind of started to prepare. It's already put in its notice to the universe, being like, hey, universe, I'm going to be taking off on January 19th or December 19th until January 8th. So just so you know, I'm going to be taking off. So in the week prior, you probably have started to feel maybe some miscommunication, maybe some slip-ups with technology, maybe things aren't moving as fluidly. That's because Mercury is getting prepared for its retreat, for its vacation. It already put in its notice. The universe is like, no problem, Mercury, I've approved your time off, so you go ahead and have your retrograde. And so in the meantime, Mercury is just trying to get everything together so it can take its break starting tomorrow on December 19th. And it's going to be on hiatus until January 8th. So what does that mean for you, okay? So Mercury has put in its request. You've already kind of started to feel that Mercury is starting to wrap up and take its time off. And so now it's time for you to understand what that's fully going to mean when it goes fully retrograde tomorrow. So retrogrades are a time of our E words. So retreat, review, reflect, relax, reassess, reorganize, right? You can go on and on and on. And we use these words because it's a time of more inward reflection. It's a time to be by yourself. Just like Mercury put in its request to take some time off, it's not a bad thing for you to take some time off too. With the holidays this week, it's going to be really crucial that you stay calm and you stay patient, okay? There's a lot of travel that's going on. There's a lot of packages that need to be delivered. There's a lot of wrapping things up in the office. There's a lot of, having to get from one thing to the other. Your schedule might feel a little bit more full. And so I encourage you to keep it as spacious as you can. I encourage you to take your time. I encourage you to do your best. If you don't get through everything, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You will get back to it when the new year resumes, I promise you. So just do your best to tie up what you can. Make sure not to cram too much on your plate. I just really encourage it because it's going to make things worse, okay? And so what you want to do is you want to realize that, during this time from December 19th until January 8th, it doesn't mean you shut down completely from the world, but it does mean that you ease back. You take a little bit more time for yourself, and you use this as a time to really restructure. Now, who's going to be feeling this retrograde the most? Likely if you're Capricorns, you get the benefit of this retrograde more than anybody else. Congrats. But my Capricorns may not feel that way, because my Capricorns like things to be a certain way and want to be in control and want to perfect everything. So when Mercury takes some time off, you're like, oh, Mercury, what are you doing taking some more time off again? The universe, oh man, the universe approved your request for this retrograde. That means that things can't be as in control as I want them to be. But this is a blessing for you, and this is a blessing for all of us. Having this retrograde in Capricorn is asking all of us to restructure our lives a little bit, to look at the systems that we have in place, or look at the systems that aren't in place, okay? How many of you don't have a system in place right now? Don't have a plan for your year ahead? Don't know what you're doing? You're just getting by, and you're just kind of rushing around, and you're making ends meet, but it's not really what you want. Well, this last few bits of the year is an excellent opportunity to use the retrograde energy to help you set up a plan that you can move forward when the retrograde lifts and Mercury comes back to work on January 9th, okay? Now, if you are someone that's super organized, then maybe it means to take a step back a little bit from your plans, from the systems in place, and see where you can make it a little bit lighter. See where maybe you've been a little too hard on yourself, or you've been a little bit too controlling, or you've been adding a little bit too much of perfection into things, okay? So, you want to look at that as well. So it can be twofold. If you're the type of person that just feels like you've been reckless and you've just been like getting by and just kind of go, do, and hope for the best, retrograde is a great time to sit down and start to actually craft a plan of what your year ahead for 2017 can look like. Now, if you're the other way around, where you're too planned, too organized, too set in your ways, this is a time to release some of that a little bit, let go, ease back, and use this time to say, okay, how different am I when I'm a little bit more at ease, when I'm a little bit more relaxed about my plan, and see if that actually feels better for you, so you're not holding so tightly to what 2017 has to mean, and you can get into this nice duality of co-creating for 2017 with the ability of you putting what you can into it and allowing something greater to come in and help you as well. So as I mentioned, Mercury put in its request for time off. It was approved. It spent last week really trying to get things ready for it to take its time off starting tomorrow. So you may have started to feel some of the issues with IT, with your car, with, mixed communications. You and a person thought you were meeting here and the other person thought you were meeting there, and it was like, so you may be feeling it a little bit now. Just be patient in this upcoming week, especially leading up to the holidays. Really recognizing this time of reflection, and yes, there will be travel. Yes, there will be packages that need to be delivered. If things don't work out the way that you thought, just laugh them off. It's okay. This is for your highest good. And really get clear on what you want this time. If the theme is restructure, if the theme is, kind of moving with this energy of Capricorn, what is it that you can relook at in your life? And can you be more structured, or can you lose a little structure? Okay, it's up to you to figure out where you are in your life. I'm the person, I think I've been hearing that I need to create a little bit more structure in my life. So I'm going to be using this retrograde to structure more. Some of you may be over-structured, and so you need to structure a little less, okay? And then on January 9th, when Mercury comes back from its vacation, it's not going to completely just, back to usual, whatever. Mercury's like, oh my God, I've been off since December 19th. I need a little bit of time here to catch up and see what I missed up on, and, catch up on emails, all that stuff. So you want to give it about another week until the Mercury retrograde is fully kind of in the clear. Mercury's back at work, doing its thing and moving forward. So, we always want to, with retrogrades, put in a little bit of a buffer, because just like you, when you take a vacation, the week leading up to it is very crazy, right? And the week that when you get back is a little bit wild too. It's the same thing for Mercury retrograde. And it's not going to do it again until April, I believe. I think it's April 9th is our next retrograde, so we've got a little bit of time in between. So I really think it's really crucial that we take the most advantage that we can of this retrograde at the end of the year with the holidays. Don't be afraid to say no to a commitment. Don't be afraid if, after your holiday dinner that you just need a little bit of time to yourself and, you're not going to be as social. It's okay, okay? Don't overcommit to things, and just really make sure that you're in a space where you're honoring this time for you before we enter into 2017. 2016 was a really hard year. 2016 adds up to 9, the end of a cycle, wrapping things up, getting really clear on how you want to start fresh for the new year, for 2017. And using this 2017 energy of freshness, of newness, of anything is possible because you've birthed yourself into a new place. How do you want to honor this past year? By any last bits of healing or releasing or saying goodbye, while also getting really clear and recognizing how you can best embrace the newness and the freshness and the brightness that is to come in the year ahead. So don't freak out with Mercury retrograde. That's not why it's here. Just like, sometimes we freak out before we got to go on vacation. People are doing that too. But then once you're in the vacation, once you got to the destination, you're in your journey, it feels really good. And you're like, I'm relaxing, I'm escaping, I'm just doing what I need to for me. And it's so delicious. So try to use the retrograde that's happening right now in the same light. If other people are mentioning it to you and they're just like, F Mercury retrograde, everything's so messed up. Just breathe, tell them to be patient, it's all working out. Maybe if there's a way that they can lighten their load a little bit, not overcommit so much, it's going to make this time a little bit easier, and they can see that it's a blessing. Nothing that happens in the cosmos is ever for our determined. It's never to hurt us. It's never meant to be negative. Everything that's happening in the universe is happening for our highest good and to reorganize us into new ways and to recalibrate us into our highest truth. And so if it feels like chaos, it means that there's something that is being released and reorganized on your behalf so that you can get to the next space of your elevation before any change happens. What is going on? Usually disaster, right? I can think back to many times in my life where it's been really hard or rough or uncertain. But in that uncertainty, in that chaos, what happened? Something to benefit me, something that made sense, something that felt more aligned, something that ultimately became more clear and spacious and welcomed. So in this time, if you're feeling the chaos, if you're feeling, wonked down, if it feels like too much, take a step back. Realize that this time is to benefit you and what you're truly capable of, to allow you to embrace the freshness that is occurring for 2017, and then move forward in that light, in that fashion as best as you can. So I wish you all happy holidays. If you're active on the Facebooks, subscribe to me here. Also check out my group, Dream Makers with Danielle Mercurio. If you're interested in learning more about the Mercury retrograde and how it affects you, like I said, Capricorns are going to feel it the most right now because it's happening in the sun season of Capricorn, and Mercury is going to be in Capricorn during the retrograde. But we can look at your chart and see some people, they bypass Mercury retrograde. It just doesn't really affect them. It's not a big deal. It's not really their jam. There are other things on their chart they need to worry about more than Mercury retrograde. So for those of you that are running around because you're worried about Mercury retrograde, that's probably not what your real fear is. It's probably just a cover story for what's really going on. So if you're curious about what that could be, reach out to me. As my sessions have sold out for December, but if you're interested in working together in January after the retrograde lifts, let me know. And share this out, guys. Share this video out. That's the best thing you can do. If you want to know how you can help, share this video out. Share it out with your people on Facebook and let them know there's another way to look at Mercury retrograde and to really understand it. I believe that what I just provided did bring more clarity. If it did, heart it up. But ultimately, that's the best way, and to promote the things that resonate with you. And because if it resonates with you, it's likely that it could resonate with someone else or change their perspective to make this time easier and more beneficial to all of us. So happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I wish you much ease and many blessings for the season ahead. Bye.